Ooh, I'm spilling the tea, you guys. You do not need to know how to draw to create professional abstract art like this. I'm going to be giving you 5 focus areas to think about when you want to create abstract art from scratch. The first thing we're going to talk about is brainstorming. You need to decide what kind of abstract art you want to create. Is it going to be an acrylic pour? Is it going to be line work? Is it going to be lots of blending and shading? Is it going to be some animals and objects all put together to create this abstract piece? Or are you just going for blah? You need to decide what kind of materials you're going to be using based on what kind of abstract art you want to create. Now, I started with applying gesso to my entire canvas because I wanted to bring in some texture without making it too textured. You feel me? Just, put in some interest there. The client wanted this paintings to be the focal point of her space. Now, she lives in a high-rise luxury style apartment, so I wanted to make sure that I actually brought that dream and that vision that she had to life. My process was a little bit easier when it came to decision making because the client already decided that she wanted canvases for her space. Now, I chose to go with a gallery style canvas, which is the kind that has 1.5 inches thickness, I believe. This makes it look a little bit more luxury like, a little bit more upscale. So I chose to go with this style canvas, especially because I wanted it to be more grand per the request of my client. Now, keep in mind, she gave me free reign on whatever I really wanted to do. She was just insistent on me using the colors brown, black, and white. Now, I added a little bit of gold in there just to spark some interest and make it look a little bit more luxurious. I didn't have a lot of tools to work with because these were really big canvases and my art easel couldn't hold both of them. So hence putting them on the floor to make it a lot easier to work side by side and make sure that both paintings were cohesive. So I thought about doing an acrylic pour. And then I thought about doing a stencil kind of abstract art. And then I thought about using actual images to represent the kind of feeling that my client wanted. She wanted something that was inspirational, hopeful, that screamed beauty, elegance, peace, and a lot of other good stuff, So I actually started this painting by drawing a peace sign and looking up symbols that represented the words that my client had requested for. Now, this made it a whole lot difficult for me because I'm used to just, throwing paint on that canvas and going with the flow. But because she was pretty specific about what she wanted, I had to cater to that and also bring in the elements of what really felt true to me. Keep in mind, when I was thinking about what kind of abstract art I wanted to create, I honestly got really overwhelmed. So I'm just going to share with you what my brain was thinking at that time because it was pretty interesting. And honestly, that's really how I created this beautiful piece of abstract art. And that leads me to step number 2. Decide where you want your focal point to be. It could be at the top right, top left, bottom right, bottom left, center right, center left. Wherever you decide, make sure that you're carrying that throughout the entire process of you creating your abstract art. This is how the viewer is drawn to your piece. It's not just by just throwing paint wherever. Even if you decide to throw paint wherever, where do you want the paint to be most heavy on? Where do you want it to feel the most light on? And you always have to think about balance. It's like the design principles or the principles of art and design. You have to make sure that there is always balance in the work you create. Because if not, it's just going to look like a piece of... And while creating, I'm thinking about the focal point and balance at this point. And my brain was like going crazy when I started this painting because I really wanted it to speak for what she really wanted from me, or rather from the painting. So I was thinking, draw a straight line, draw a circle. Maybe you should try making a circle bigger. Now, how about you try drawing a vertical line? That vertical line is not straight enough, now make it bigger. Maybe try using brown instead, or no black, maybe white. No, gold. Oh my goodness. You need to put in like 5 different shades of brown. Oh no, now you're putting too much in there. You need to reduce it. Make it a little less. Remember, it has to feel peaceful and calm. Okay, was that white? It needs softer. Oh, now it's solid. Now we have to make it a little more. Add more earth tone so that it can speak for the space. Now you put too much brown. How about you put in more white again? The truth is, all of these add up to create layers in the painting, which ended up looking really amazing. And you really do have to go through this process. The process is really what makes the painting speak for itself. So when you start and you're feeling overwhelmed, you can always take a break. Just remember that after your break, you need to come back and just go for it. I took a break for about a week and a half, and then I came back. Baby, when I tell you I came back prepared and ready, I did, because this painting ended up looking amazing. It is one of my best paintings to date, because I really loved it, and it was really hard to depart with it because the emotions were there, y'all. Like, it was all right. Anyways, after you've decided what you want your focal point to be, you have to decide on step 3, main character. It has to give, it has to be giving main character energy, because why not? You have to decide what exactly it is you want your main character to be. In this case, I chose circles. I wanted this like soft, free-flowing, kind of exaggerated feel to the regular shapes. And I wanted to bring that into this piece of chaos that I had gone through and bring in some peace and mindfulness. And your main character could be butterflies, it could be the peace sign, it could be clouds, it could be grass, it could be whatever you decide for it to be, but that has to stand out. That has to be something that when people look at it, they can feel it, they can see it. Now, with that in mind, you have to remember colors as step 4. Colors are as important as your main character and as important as the focal point, because you can use colors to draw attention to the main character. You can use colors to draw attention to the focal point. And yes, your main character could also be your focal point, but also not. In this case, my main character was the mountains that you see, like the waterfall that you see. But you have to decide, what feeling do you want to evoke? How do you want people to see this painting? How do you want them to feel when they look at this painting? What do you want the conversations to be around this painting? Most times it's better you decide on this before you start the painting, but it's also okay to add some more into the painting as you go. Now, the colors were already chosen for me based on the space of the client. And these were the browns, whites, and black. And to highlight these in the painting, I wanted everything to speak out for itself. So I used about 4 different shades of brown to bring out this more earth tone kind of feel. And also just to make sure that whatever space that it goes into, depending on the shade of brown, it would go perfectly well with, because I was only referencing a photo, and we all know that sometimes photos are not really true to what the color looks like in person. Lastly, we're gonna get down to number 5, which is emotions. I know I already touched a little bit about this previously, but your emotions play a huge role when you're creating a piece of art. Keep in mind, you cannot let your emotions get the best of you. Now, if it's a painting that you're just creating because you want to have an art exhibit, or you just want to show it to the world and speak through your art what it is that you're feeling, good for you. But when you're creating art for somebody else and you're angry or sad, you cannot let those emotions come through in your art if that is not what is requested of your client, especially if that's not the feeling that your client is trying to get from looking at this art every single day. Can you imagine having a piece of art that makes you upset? Listen here. When you're creating abstract art, it's going to be judged like crazy. Get ready for all the judgments that come in play, because everybody's going to see something different. And that's okay. That is completely okay. As long as your art sparks a conversation and does what it is that you want it to do, at the end of the day, whatever that might be, then you've done a good job. You have created your abstract art and you are now a professional. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Anyways, I added the gold leaf, and this just tied everything together. When I tell you that I was so impressed with myself at the end of the day, oh my goodness. It was a hard piece to let go of, but I had to. I had to. I'm gonna create something else that's similar to that for my space because this painting just spoke a lot to me. It just brought me so much joy, happiness, and all those words that my client actually wanted. So why not? Look at me cheesing talking about it. In case you were wondering what I'm doing here, I'm just dusting up the painting for any debris, and then I'm just varnishing the painting so it can last longer and be protected over time. Anyways, I'm so glad that you stayed with me through the process. Thanks for watching, and I hope you do check out my other videos where I show you how I create other kinds of art. You need to decide what kind of abstract. I used acrylic paint, and if you do try it and follow, and if you do try my other videos where I show you how to do color pencil paintings.